Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gibby for back to the video. Today, we're back. Oh yes, we're back. I know, it's been a while since I've last done a reaction to Food Theory. Okay, I was trying to make, the first episodes of, the new theorists in the same week, but intervention happens. But anyways, we're going to be reacting to the new Food Theory, and that's spicy chicken sandwiches. Okay, with our new host, Santi. You know, the guy we saw making Matt Pat a cake. So, Santi, welcome aboard. Can't wait to see Food Theory with you guys. And, I think that's instructions away. Let's do this, shall we?
Well, here we are, my first episode.
Hey,
I can't
Santi.
tell you how excited I am to be here with all of you. And what better way to start a new chapter than by spicing up an old favorite? Look, Matt was the one that specialized in puns, okay? Hit it!
All right, then. Dun, 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 dun. All right, then.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, the show that's stepping up its hotness in more ways than one. Speaking of which, you may notice that there's something slightly different, and I figure now is as good a time as any to settle some things. First of all, hi, I'm Santi. I've been a fan of Matt's for a long time, since I was in high school, so being here is pretty surreal to me. For those of you who don't know me, before the grays set in, I once got frosted tips because I wanted to so badly be a member of a boy band. I still have hope, though it dwindles every day. What doesn't dwindle, though, is my love for all things spicy. If you've been
I could never have spicy food. I'm sorry.
You may remember the chicken sandwich episode from a few years back where Matt found the overall best sandwich using science. That's always been one of my favorites, even way before I joined the team. But as someone who loves spicy foods, I always told myself that if I had the opportunity, I'd remake the episode with hot chicken sandwiches. So here I am with you today to do just that. For those of you who aren't spice fiends, even if you are, you may not be familiar with where the hot chicken sandwich originated. And let me tell you, the story is probably spicier than any chicken sandwich I'll ever eat. Legend goes, Nashville's own Thornton Prince, a tastemaker, essentially an influencer of yesteryear, came home from a wild night out. And while no one knows exactly what did him in, his girlfriend found out he had cheated and decided to take revenge. Did she elect to murder him? Poison him? Good old draw and quarter? No. See, Thornton was
hold on, what?
And his girlfriend figured the best revenge for his adultery would be to make his fried chicken super duper spicy. She loaded his nightly fried chicken with heaps of cayenne pepper, expecting him to break down in tears, but instead he loved it. He was such a fan of this dish that he decided to start selling it out of his own house. He decided to perfect the recipe and open up his own restaurant, Prince's Hot Chicken.
You played yourself.
Open to this day, almost 100 years later. So the fiery flavors of Nashville hot chicken came from the fiery loins of one adulterer. Now that's what I call a cheat meal. I'm so sorry for that. And so Nashville hot chicken was born.
Nah, that is insane.
And now it seems like every restaurant worth their salt is coming out with their own version of the spicy chicken sandwich. But taking a look at the landscape of chicken sandwiches on the market, you'll notice that there's way more diversity in how they prepare this classic craving than you might have originally thought. It's a chicken sandwich with some heat. How much could you possibly change? Turns out, a lot. From the breading, the spice blend, to the buns and the toppings, there's clearly no consensus about what makes the perfect spicy chicken sandwich. Till today, my goal is to definitively find out the scientifically best spicy chicken sandwich. I'm going to be testing 8 spicy chicken sandwiches from popular fast food chains. Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, and finally KFC. But also,
I think Chick-fil-A, maybe Chick-fil-A might win.
Here in Los Angeles, Dave's Hot Chicken and Howlett Ray's. We wanted to include some local establishments that specialize in hot chicken sandwiches to see how they would differ from the larger chains. I feel like I should mention here that because some of these places allow you to choose from a range of how spicy spicy you want your sandwich, we decided to keep it as equal as possible by asking for medium spice levels wherever it was offered. Each sandwich will be judged in 4 different categories on a scale of 1 to 5. First, the overall taste. Pretty self-explanatory. Second, the chicken. Namely, the actual quality of the chicken itself. Nobody wants to chew on rubber while their eyes are welling up from the heat. From there, we'll be looking at the toppings and how they add or take away from the overall experience of the sandwich. And finally, and most importantly, the spice. This part can get pretty subjective, so not only will I give a ranking based on how each spicy sandwich worked best for my taste, I'll also be looking at the combination of peppers used, how the peppers are cooked in, whether in the breading, a sauce, or a dry rub on top, and how the overall spice journey is so that it's not all about more spicy equals better. In other words, does the spice hit you all at once and go away, or do you get a wonderful roller coaster where it builds up slowly to a peak and then dies down before you go in for a second bite? Round 1.
All right.
Now that we've got all that squared away, it's time to get to testing. We're going to be going down the line from left to right, starting with local favorite Howlin' Rays. Howlin' Rays uses a mixture of ghost pepper and habanero. So
all right, Santi.
Really spicy peppers that they dust on top of the coating. So a lot of the spice is going to come from the ghost pepper and the habanero. So
okay, I know. I shouldn't be pausing about all this. You know, we want to get to the video, but I do want to ask a very important question to you guys. Because we done the MatPat Marathon run with Food Theory included and Style Theory included because it just felt right on that one. Because, you know, usually I always do reaction videos solely on Film Theory and even Game Theory. So what I want to ask for you guys, leave it down in the comments below, and I probably would leave the question in the description box or in the pinned comment. Would you guys want me to continue reacting to Food Theory / Style Theory? Because I'm actually enjoying Style Theory, to be honest, and if Food Theory is making a lot of experimental videos, then shoot, sign me up. But yeah, just leave down in the comments below. Would you guys want me to react to more Food Theory and Style Theory, or do you guys just want me to stick with Game and Film Theory from now on, like going back to where we usually were? All right, that's all I'm gonna say. No more pausing. Let's dig in.
Oh, Lord, that was very crispy. It was very crispy. But once I was able to actually go in again and take a bite of the complete sandwich, my initial reaction cooled down a bit. While the taste of the chicken and the spice was great, it was overwhelmingly pickly. So I had to knock it down to a 4. Popeyes had a tough act to follow and fell flat on its face. I gotta say, from a flavor overall, kind of basic. We're gonna give it like a 2. There was nothing in the sandwich that popped out to me from a flavor standpoint. The sauce was more sweet than spicy, and the pickles didn't provide much of a briny addition to the chicken. And if you thought Chick-fil-A would do any better, you'd be very wrong. From a flavor standpoint, it's hard to get over the strong flavor of tomato.
Not Chick-fil-A.
It really overpowers the ensemble. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm gonna give it a 2 right there.
Dang
it. It's a pretty easy judgment for me. I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of Chick-fil-A. Now, I think it's overrated. The waffle fries, great. But their name is Chick-fil-A, not Waffle Fry A. Needless to say, I figured this would be rock bottom and that Burger King would be where the flavor started to bounce back. But,
no. Ah, come on.
Demand for and that Burger King would be where the flavor started to bounce back.
New host, same problem with me really doing videos.
This is a 1. Honestly,
Dang.
It seemed like this episode was over before we even started, but finally, Wendy's of all places brought some life to the competition. From a flavor standpoint, it's actually really good. Despite the mayo, the ghost pepper seasoning, the crispy onions, sure you have the lettuce and the tomato, but the flavor of everything working together really goes together well. I'm really surprised because the mayo adds a little hint of freshness at the very front, and then you get all that spice and you're kind of eased into it. This is a 4. Wendy's ghost pepper chicken sandwich, this is a 4 from a flavor standpoint. I may not be a huge fan of their burgers, but man, I know what I'll be getting every time I go to Wendy's from now on. McDonald's, on the other hand, no. The potato bread is giving me flashbacks to Burger King. It's, again, dry. It's kind of tough. to get through, and
Dang.
it immediately is what you taste. But then, once you get past that little hurdle, you get so much mayo in this spicy mayo sauce. I will say it packs a good amount of heat, but it's just mayo. It's mayo spicy. From everything else,
Dang.
it's just underwhelming. The tomato is really thick, and it adds a lot of tomato flavor. The chicken gets completely lost in everything, and what you get is just mayo. Yeah.
Darn.
Looks like Ronald and the King are going to be taking home the lowest ratings in this category. With only KFC and Dave's Hot Chicken left, it honestly started to seem...
KFC can't fall,
side.
can it?
From a flavor standpoint, honestly, this is great. I wouldn't give it a 5 because I think it is a little one note, but it all comes together really well. This is a 4, easily. Great showing for the Colonel. His bread was nice, soft. The pickles added just the right amount of brine, and the mayo complemented the chicken perfectly. Local chain Dave's, on the other hand, I wanted to like this so much more than I do. So much more. Honestly, despite giving it a 2, ranking it higher than McDonald's and Burger King, this was the biggest disappointment for me. The chicken looked great. The colors in the sandwich were vibrant, and it had a diverse mixture of toppings from pickles and cheese to kale slaw. It was actually the only sandwich of the bunch to include kale, and the second with a slaw after Howlin' Rays. But the flavor, their choice of seasonings made it seem like I was licking a sweaty armpit. If that sounds bad, I guarantee you tasting it wasn't fun either, folks. Closing out the first round, Wendy's, KFC, and Howlin' Rays led the pack with 4 points each. Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and Dave's Hot Chicken lagged behind with 2s, and Burger King and McDonald's were scraping the bottom of the barrel with 1 point each.
Darn.
Round 2, chicken.
The chicken.
At the taste and quality of the chicken in this round, honestly, I thought going into it that the rankings would stay pretty much the same. But I was quickly proven wrong by Popeyes, which redeemed itself once I isolated the chicken from the other components of the sandwich. The breading is so good, and it's a nice, thick, chunky piece of chicken. I'm gonna go.
I like the breaded chicken nuggets from
It's
Chick-fil-A.
not spicy, but if we're just looking at the chicken alone,
or I guess I just like the sauce too, I guess.
Chick-fil-A continued to be lukewarm, coming in at a 3 for its chicken. It had an off-putting sweetness in the breading, and it was a tiny bit dry because it was on the thinner side. It wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't good. And while Burger King had a horrible first round, it also had a horrible second round.
Dang!
It is soggy, but it is so tough.
Take off your crown if this is how you're losing back to back.
You have to kind of rip it off. And that is the last thing you want with a spicy chicken sandwich. Not a good day for the King. It ended up earning a 2 thanks to the passable breading. Wendy's continued the strong streak with a 4 alongside KFC, and McDonald's got itself a 3 to really make this category much more competitive. It was a weak 3, but it was a 3 nonetheless. So the chicken breading has no spice in it whatsoever. It is soft, it's soggy, it's not dry, which is a nice welcome difference from the previous couple. There's a weird flavor in the breading that I can't quite put my finger on. It's a little pickly, almost briny. Unfortunately, the disappointment with Dave just kept on coming. It's well cooked. It's not dry, but it's also not juicy either. It's kind of just there, but that breading is horrendous. So I'm gonna give this a 2. Gotta say, so far, Howlin' Rays is really putting the LA hot chicken game on its back. Round 3, toppings. This round saw some big winners and some big losers. Howlin' Rays
Burger King again?
Ended up earning it some points in this one. The pickles, however, are really good. I think that's what helps cut the spice level. So when it gets to that peak, the pickles come in and just slice it like a samurai. And I gotta say, that is a very, very good pickle. Toppings-wise, this probably gets a 4 just because of the pickle. KFC
like Samurai Jack
came out of the gate strong with a 4. But Wendy's was a standout star for a unique topping here. Their ghost pepper crispy onions. That crispy onion that is coated in ghost pepper is the greatest thing any of this has. I could go in for another bite and another bite very easily. While all the others struggled with 1s and 2s, Dave's in particular incorporated a kale slaw that brought everything crashing down. The kale slaw itself really takes so much away from the experience, and it doesn't help anything with the spice. If anything, I feel like it makes it worse because with the bitterness, my mouth is focusing on that and the spice alone. You may have noticed that almost every sandwich on this list came with a pickle, but well, pickles add a combination of acidity, which helps neutralize the alkaline capsaicin, as well as saltiness and even sweetness from the brine that helps cut through the heat and the fat from the rest of the sandwich. They're the
Okay.
a perfect counterbalance to save you from tearing up from spice and pain with every bite. A lot of the weaker scores came down
Alright,
to
so
just
don't take off the
being
pickles. Got it.
unbalanced, not having the freshness or acidity of the pickle to cut the spicy mayos that the restaurants would slap onto their chickens. And for the places that elected to use tomato, why? Why would you do this? Sure, tomatoes are refreshing and can provide sweetness and some tang, but they don't deliver the right amount of acidity, like from a pickle. And with such a strong flavor, it completely ruins the ensemble. Even taking a cue from another food theory episode didn't help. Nope. Even turning it upside down, all I get is tomato. I do have to give a special shout out to Burger King here, though, because the king went above and beyond to keep their losing streak going. Talk about bread for a second here.
No, Burger King, this can't be.
Really
No, this can't be my king.
Factor. The bread here is horrendous. It is dry. It's falling apart, yet at the same time, it's all you taste, it's all you feel in your mouth. Yeah, where every other sandwich had bread that ranged from good to completely inconsequential, this almost had BK coming out with a 0. Instead, we'll just have to replace his crown with a super dry bread bun. Round 4, heat.
Nah, this is horrible. That is oh no, that's bad for Burger King. 3? We're going on a 3 losing streak? Oh, this is shameful. Dang.
Dry bread bun. Round 4, heat. Like I mentioned earlier, because spice is subjective, and what works for me spice-wise may not work for others who are more or less tolerant to heat than I am, I'm ranking these more on the spice journey, how the heat kicks in, giving weight to sandwiches that give a quick ramp up to a tolerable peak, and then cooled off enough to go in for a second bite. What also factored into this was how the spicy peppers were implemented. In other words, was the spicy mayo better than the dry rub? This way, we were able to keep the subjectivity of preferred spice level out of it. The 3 big winners here were Wendy's, who's just been crushing it, Howlin' Ray's, and KFC. Interestingly, they all got their heat in different ways. Howlin' Ray's has a dry coating of their ghost and habanero peppers that goes on top of their regularly breaded chicken. And whatever they did from a heat perspective, it was awesome. Wow. The taste of that is phenomenal, which is interesting because there's the spice. Oh, I didn't think it would be that bad at first. It gets a lot worse. It's a slow build.
You should have packed the water with you, my boy.
That's the most impressive thing. It went to a peak super quickly, but then it kind of mellowed out. Wendy's incorporates their ghost pepper straight into the breading of their chicken and adds to it with the delicious ghost pepper crispy onions. Seriously, I can't stop raving about how good those were. More than that, the heat from everything involved worked together like a symphony of heat. Everything works together to get to a very nice peak, and it goes away. Doesn't go away as much as Howlin' Ray's. I think the toppings have a lot to do with that there, but it's manageable throughout. I could go in for another bite and another bite very easily. Man,
you better calm down, boy. You're going to eat the whole sandwich.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in for another bite.
You're going to eat
tomato. That's impressive. And then there's KFC, which uses.
You're going to eat the whole sandwich. There won't be no more testing.
There's a good bit of cayenne in here. It's not a burn flavor. It's not a spice that makes you have to pause after every bite. I'm not a fan of the mayo, but I am a fan of the spice. All of them provided excellent heat that hit you perfectly and then subsided just in time for you to go in for more. The big takeaway for this category, though, is that the dry rubs of powder like Howlin' Ray's did have a tendency to be a bit front-loaded. And without being cooked or mixed into the sauce, they tiptoed into the realms of tasting like battery acid, which wasn't ideal. Still packed a punch and did so in a very manageable way, but when you're out looking for spicy chicken sandwiches, probably best to stick to ones with sauces or with the heat fried right into the breading of the chicken.
Okay.
So, now that I've gone through and just absolutely massacred every single spicy chicken sandwich here, I mean, look at this. I'm a barbarian. It's time to go through and tally up all the scores to figure out which spicy chicken sandwich is best. Now,
this was just an excuse to eat all the sandwiches.
Final rankings here.
You didn't invite any of the homies.
After all, so it makes sense to give you which one I deem to be the spiciest one straight from my gut as opposed to my brain. If you're looking for the best sweat on your lip, tear-inducing spicy chicken sandwich, that title goes to Howlin' Ray's hands down. You saw it as soon as I took a bite. It took me a second to recover once it hit me. Best part about it for all you other spice heads, that was a medium. There's not 1, not 2, but 3 levels of heat
Medium?
If you ever find yourself in sunny LA, you have to make time for the sandwich. I actually went back and had the hot version of the sandwich after we filmed this episode, and oh boy, let me tell you, it almost got the best of me. But it was so delicious.
He got on his knees.
I wanted to try the extreme heat, but you can only do it once you've eaten their other heat levels and signed a waiver. Needless to say, it's still on my bucket list.
Sign a waiver?
Just for a sandwich, though, the heat from Wendy's Ghost Pepper is definitely a worthy runner-up. Putting my gut aside and whipping out the calculator, it was time to look at how all the...
You gotta sign a waiver? Oh no.
In a spicy twist, there was actually a tie for second place.
What?
Ray's and KFC ended up with 20 points.
Okay.
Strong numbers across the board, so it only felt right to break this tie by going back to the drawing board, or the calculator. See, it made sense to break the tie by finding which sandwich gave you the best spice at the nicest price. It wasn't as simple as just looking at the price tag, though, since Howlin' Ray's boasted one that was double KFC's, and it felt wrong to dock it points just for that. So we decided to measure the weight of the chicken in each sandwich to calculate the spicy chicken per dollar spent, and that's when the gap between them really emerged. With both of their heat ranks being equal, it was Howlin' Ray's price point and KFC just having more chicken in their sandwich that separated them. With both of their heat ranks being equal, this landed Howlin' Ray's squarely in third place with the bronze, and KFC holding the silver in second. And in first place, none other than Mother Cluckin' Wendy's. As soon as I tasted this bad boy, I knew this was going to be ranking high. It had a delicious, balanced, and complex flavor with great texture as well, thanks to those crispy onions. While the chicken itself may not have been the crispiest, it was propped
what are you
going
to do to my boy Chick-fil-A?
Across the board, the Little Redhead stomped the competition and ended up with 26 points.
I can already tell Food Fury will be my enemy, to be honest.
Far away from Burger King, which landed itself in last place with 8 points. Sorry, BK, but the numbers don't lie. It honestly had nothing going for it. Not only did it have the second most expensive sandwich of the bunch, it also had
Burger King slander in this is wild.
The bread alone was enough for it to come dead last, if you ask me. So, there you have it. If heat is what you're looking for, hop on a plane for LA so you can try Howlin' Ray's. But when it comes to
I know Food Fury is going to be the death of me. It's going to make me hungry every single time. Yes, I am that. Yes, I am that much of a big boy.
It became my favorite right away. In the end, despite going up against chains who specialize in chicken, good old Wendy's showed that she won't chicken out. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit.
Alright, so that's going to be the video, guys. Santi, good job on your first video. Now, can you please lend some of those spicy burgers over to our way, please? I'm incredibly hungry. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below. What do you guys think? How do you feel about the Burger King slander? And, you know, also comment down. Would you guys want me to react to more Food Fury? And also, you'll most likely see Style Fury pop out later soon. Like, maybe about, like, 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, you might probably see Style Fury come up as well. Trying to redeem myself, if you know what I mean. But, yeah. And subscribe. We're trying to upload as much as we can. Well, you know, upload daily. This is One Gamer 54 signing off.